So, I'm not sure if any of you are aware of this, and this might come as a shock considering the handsome and well-mannered gentleman you all know me as, but I really like video games.
All you do is play video games.
Well, I mean, I'm a
stay up
gamer.
till
What do
6
you
o'clock in the
expect?
morning,
I'm a
and
gamer.
then sleep till 2 o'clock in the
What I
afternoon.
do, okay?
What?
It's what I do.
What?
I'm a gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, stupid jokes aside, I think from the many videos I've made so far, it's become obvious that games do mean a lot to me, and many of them have impacted me in different ways. For example, my first time playing through Cuphead, besides screaming at the TV several times, I fell in love with the art style and began to respect animation as a whole. Except for the fan art, that sucks, and just keep it back to the DeviantArt away from me.
Keep your Kentucky Fried fetish away from me!
Or even something like VVVVVV. It made me realize how amazing retro visuals and music can be even here in the present day. Seriously dude, some of the small sound effects that play for a few seconds are so good to listen to.
And disco!
And these are just a few examples. I can probably name much more games that made me understand just how incredible they can become. With all that said though, I don't think a single game has impacted me as strangely as the one I'm talking about right here, right now. And if it wasn't already obvious, it's the crying pooping baby game. Okay, before I talk about this game, I just want to say a funny story. So I was around like 10 years old, and I remember looking for like Nintendo Switch games, like around when it came out, because I was around like 10. So I was at the gaming shop, and I pulled out Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, and I was weirdly disturbed by the artwork, and my mum put it back and said, pick another one, I think that's an adult game. So you're probably wondering if in this video I'm going to talk about the original Binding of Isaac or the Rebirth remaster, and while both have great qualities and do things better, I'm just going to show footage from Rebirth, but overall I'm sort of talking about both games in general because I love them both.
I think you're gonna love it.
Binding of Isaac is genuinely old jokes and funny Family Guy clips I slide in sometimes aside. This is not only one of the best games I've ever played, but I'd go as far as to say this is in my top 3 favorite games I've ever played, or even by the words of Jack Skellington from Cute Mario Bros, a top 2.
What the fuck? Oh my god! I peed my pants again! I
honestly don't know where to start, dude. Like, it's gonna be so hard to not make this an 8-hour video essay. Okay, I think we should start with the story. How about that? So, basically what happens is that Isaac's mother sits on the couch all day and kind of sucks because she's just gross to look at in general, but I know most Tumblr users would probably think otherwise.
Oh, what a fetish! I know I'm not the only one, right? Who else has this fetish? I'm not the only one, right? Right?
I don't think.
Please tell me I'm not.
Anyway, she hears a voice that tells her that Isaac is a little meanie little... I was meant to write stinky, but it says stinkly. She hears a voice that tells her that Isaac is a little meanie little stinky little Dennis the Menace, so she has to grab a knife and tries to kill him. But Isaac is always 2 steps ahead.
2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead.
And jumps down the basement. And I don't know, there's like monsters and stuff that like represent his thoughts and stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. See, this game actually does have lore. In fact, there is actually some lore that many videos have already covered about Isaac and go much more in depth than I ever could. But even besides the basic introduction to the game, one green flag is how ironic the lore feels overall. It never feels like it takes itself too seriously, while at the same time not being a sloppy plot that the writers from the Prince cartoon would write. Hey, what up guys? It's me, Stan from South Park. And today, we're gonna watch funny scenes from TV show The Prince, HBO Max. Let's give it a watch.
I gave Camilla a sugar cube.
Just one.
And she took it.
She's a good girl.
Can nobody fix that?
I think the hinge is broken.
Just leave it. It's easier to put stuff in that way. See? Happy as a clam.
There's also characters you can unlock in this game if you think Isaac sucks too much to use, which honestly was the greatest choice in sliced bread, so I'm so happy that the developers chose this. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these characters have their own lore and story too, but I don't know, I could honestly be wrong. Right from the get-go, the level already punched you in the face and has you flying back and hitting your wall from amazement. The music, the art style, and the level design in this game is some of the best any video game has ever offered. Even when I first played this game and began discovering certain rooms blindly, I was having the time of my life figuring out the randomly generated mazes that were filled with bugs and headless creatures that wanted to rip my skin apart. The mazes and way around the basement never feels like a chore either. In fact, what I love about this game so much is that it always rewards you for exploring. If you choose the wrong way to go, before you can punch a wall next to you with anger, you'll discover a secret room that gives you a great item or something along those lines. Speaking of the items, there are so many I could talk about that are all unique in their own way and perform differently from one another, and by so many, I mean 341 items, man! That's more items than the amount of Tracer Overwatch merch I have hidden in my secret closet.
Oh, it's so dark in here.
Oh, look, there's a light switch, Mario!
What, really? Oh. What is going on?
God, what is happening? Why are there bodies everywhere?
Some are much better than others, obviously, but from the near 30 hours I have on this game, I don't think I've encountered a single terrible one that completely ruins the game for the player. In fact, most of these are great depending on the situation. One great example is the... Ludovico technique. I get that. That's what I'll say. I don't know how you pronounce it. At first, I remember thinking,
wow, this is garbage. You actually like this?
But the more I used it on bosses instead of enemies, made me realize the great potential that the item had. Actually, wait, I want to talk about the bosses now. You see, this game is known for being one of the most difficult games out there, and I leave all that credit to the bosses that this game throws at you, because, oh man, some of them drove me more insane than Plankton when Patrick installed his Windows. In all honesty, the first few times you play through this game, the basement and caves bosses won't be so hard, but you'll have your blood boiling in your body once you reach the depths of the womb. And yeah, a womb is... It's one of the levels in the game. I don't know what else to say without feeling extremely uncomfortable. These bosses do not give you a single chance for Isaac to stand around even for a few seconds to catch his breath. They will come at you at the same speed as Quirks is making a mummy joke.
Of course.
Bite me, mommy.
What? I do not sound like that.
I could do a way better impression. Please, mommy. I've been a bad girl. Bite me and pull my hair.
Oh, that's real nice.
It's genuinely crazy how fast and powerful some of these bosses are. But like, at the same time, they're getting like spanked with a 5-year-old's tears to the face. So maybe like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Some of these will honestly be the biggest sprees ever once you start to get the hang of the game. Like, I honestly can't even remember the last time I got hit by this blobfish looking guy. But this guy on a stupid little idiot horse makes me die almost every single time. And seeing this stupid death screen is the worst thing to witness in my whole life. Oh, but the mum boss? The mum boss, man?
Please, mommy.
I know I keep making jokes about the mum and stuff, but I'm not exaggerating when I say up there with talking to women, beating mum boss is one of the top 3 most anxiety-inducing tasks in the whole world. It's weird because I know it's supposed to be one of the most anxiety-inducing fights ever, but like, dude, surely I can't be the only one who thinks this is one of the best boss fights in any game ever. I have no idea if this is a hot take, but I will honestly die on that heel that thinks that this is on the same level of intensity as hype as the Sans battle and Devil Boss battle from Cuphead. The one woman who gave the same treatment to Isaac as me when I'm watching an average episode of Husband Hotel is now standing face to face with him, doing everything she can to literally murder her son. I wonder if I made anyone angry by saying that comparison.
Wish that I had something to live for tomorrow.
So if you're not aware, the mum is a very final boss in the normal mode of the game and not the hard mode, and the only time you see her before the boss fight is when she's trying to snatch you with the same energy as Mr. Krabs' big meaty claws. And beating her in the normal mode already had me cheering across my whole house. Now imagine the dread I felt when I saw that there was a hard mode. I could almost swear I heard Ever at the End of Time begin to play in my head when I found that out.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
Okay, I know I keep talking about this boss, but one last thing. The music that plays in both versions of this game, more specifically the Rebirth version, is some of the best boss music I've ever heard in any video game. I listen to this theme song on a constant basis nowadays whenever I'm casually playing music because it's that incredible. I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but I honestly can't remember. I'm an absolutely huge Super Meat Boy fan, and it's like my favorite game ever, so like, hopefully I can make a video on it soon, that'll be cool. So my surprise when I found out the mum boss fight had the same energy as the Super Meat Boy song had me so shocked. I don't know how much of this I can play without a copyright strike being shoved down my throat, so I'll just play a few seconds from both versions of the game to show you how amazing this sounds. Now do you see? Okay, you probably don't because that was only like a few seconds. But when you have the time, listen to them.
Let's do this right. Hope you guys like
The Binding of Isaac.
On the topic of music, I honestly love both versions of the game's soundtrack. If you're more into a classic Newgrounds type early 2010s Flash game soundtrack, you'll prefer the original game soundtrack. If you're more into a heavy metal soundtrack that makes you feel like you're about to die both in-game and real life, then you'll prefer the Rebirth soundtrack. I can't really decide which one I prefer out of the two because I really like the empty and almost nostalgic feeling that the first game brings off, but then Rebirth has the mum boss fight.
Just hook it to my veins!
I always see people argue which one's better, but like, can we just leave it that they're both equally great? Like, nothing's wrong with that. I could probably talk about this game's soundtrack for an entire day straight, but I don't want to repeat myself, so like, I don't know, here's a list of my favorite songs, go listen to them.
Or I will kill you.
Alright, I know it seems like I've covered almost everything about this game, but like, honestly, I've missed talking about 90% of things, but I don't want to keep this video too long. But before I go, I really wanted to touch on one last thing. If you couldn't care less about this topic, I honestly don't care if you just skip to the end of the video, but I really wanted to say this because up there with the DDLC on the news and Peter hating on Super Mario 3D Land, this is up there with one of my least favorite video game controversies. So I'll probably still be making jokes, but it just won't be as frequent. Alright, so if you weren't aware, I am a Christian. I am religious. And the thing is, I've seen so many Christian-based reviews on this game franchise, bashing it constantly about it being satanic and mocking all religions, especially Christianity. And to that I have to say,
hey, what do you say we play brain surgeon? Would you go get my power tools?
I'm sorry, but some of these reviews are some of the most obnoxious things I have ever read. And hearing people say that this game is satanic is just like, literally not true in the slightest. Does the game involve demons? And heck, is one of the choices you make in this game to sell your soul to hell? Yes, absolutely correct. Do consequences come from these actions and the game constantly makes you feel like a terrible person for doing this? Absolutely correct once again. And what I find most annoying is that they always talk about the demonic stuff and not the fact that you can become a literal angel, and one of the endings says Isaac accepts his Christianity. Or Catholic, I'm not really sure. People on Reddit say different things. Now, I know it's not really a pro-Christian game at all, but I and many others think that one of the game's messages is coming into terms with your personal beliefs, whether they are religious or not. No, but you forgot that the mum hears the voice of God and she tells her to kill her son. Okay, first off, that's a real story in the Bible in which no one even ends up dying at all. And secondly, I've always despised this excuse because by the end of the game, a Bible literally knocks the mum out killing her son, meaning it wasn't even a voice of God, but she was just going cuckoo bananas. Now, I can definitely understand why some religious people still wouldn't be comfortable playing this game. There is still some imagery that involves demons and stuff, but like I said, this game isn't trying to hypnotize you into worshipping the devil or something. It's just bringing in a temptation for the player, and I don't know why this is so hard to understand. If you don't like it, then okay, pick the angel route. Like, what's stopping you? Heck, even Edmund's dad, Edmund is the guy who made the game by the way, who works at a church, saw this game and actually thought it had an incredible message, and some people at the church loves the game's meanings and intentions. So I have no idea why so many people are trying to act like this game is making you a horrible person. In the end, all I can say is that Binding of Isaac is such an incredible game. Everything down to its visuals, sound, music, bosses, difficulty, lore, enemies, everything about this game makes it such an inspiration for so many people across the world. And this video game will probably remain in my top 3 favorite video games forever. If you're watching this and have never played Isaac, well then, I actually kind of feel bad because I just spoiled so many things for you. I'm sorry. But if you don't care, then please, please, please play this game. You won't regret it at all. This game, Super Meat Boy and the Basement Collection, not only made me realize how incredible video games as a whole can be, but how incredible of a developer Edmund McMillan is. This dude is hands down my favorite I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, I didn't. This dude is hands down my favorite video game developer ever in my personal opinion, and jokes aside, has inspired me so much. Almost every single one of his games makes a place on my favorite video games ever list, and I'm honestly so thankful for the games he has produced. But dude, just give us Mutagenics already. Like, you Silksong fans are so sad having to wait for 5 years. Now imagine having to wait for almost 12 years.
Come on, pull him up, pull him up. Thank you, little spider buddy.